Hello everyone, welcome to this month's monthly Cascade of February. We have quite a bit of stuff to go over, so let's get right into the first box. So while I open each one of these, I'm going to explain a little bit why I bought them. This particular one, this Great Northern Caboose, I bought because I plan on getting a Great Northern steam engine at some point in the near future. And I do currently have some Great Northern FAs that are on the projects list as they need DCC decoders, but they're from that generation of protos right before DCC became a thing in like 2004, I want to say. But it never hurts to have another caboose, and we will take a look at this shortly. Let's move on to the next car. This Northwestern Pacific boxcar, I actually bought this one because number one, I just like the scheme, and number two, I didn't realize that Roundhouse actually made a second road number of them. I do already have one of these cars, or at least a different road number, and I was just stoked to find a second one. That's what it looks like. It's one of those cars that I think is just simply elegant, if that makes any sense. I love that logo on there. You can't see it real well, but yeah, I love the logo on there. Plus, it's just a plain black boxcar. Let's move on to the last one. So this last car here is actually an ore car, and it's LS&I, Lake Superior in Ishpeming. And while I don't have a huge interest in this railroad, although I know plenty of its steam engines are still around, the main reason I bought this particular car was the fact that I want to try and collect one ore car from every single ore railroad, or at least every single major ore railroad that I can find. And this includes stuff like the DM&IR, which is probably the most prominent one, LS&I, Bessemer Lake Erie, Erie Mining Company. I don't know if they own their own cars, or at least know they have their own engines. But yeah, and a bunch of others as well. Great Northern, Northern Pacific. I want to try and collect one car in each scheme. Now, let's take a look at these up close. So here's the LS&I ore car, and what is there to say? It's just a nice little ore car. I really do enjoy it. The load is removable. Printing on it is very sharp. I've seen some people say that the Athearn ore cars are garbage and the Walthers ones are better. I personally like the Athearn ones just as much as the Walthers ones, and, well, I don't have much to say on that. Moving on to the Northwestern Pacific boxcar, again, I just love this little boxcar. It is so cool, and here's a close-up of the logo that's on it, which I think is by far one of the coolest parts of the car. And it's a standard Athearn 40-foot boxcar. Not much to say. Let's move on to the caboose. Finally, we have the Great Northern Caboose, which I think I was the most excited for when I bought all this stuff. And I'm just going to show you guys the logos right away because the printing on these is just spectacular. And I was actually planning to get, I think I already said this, but in case I didn't, I was planning to get the new run of the Walthers ones that are DM&IR G2 cabooses, but I ended up buying this one since it was about half the price, and I must say I'm very happy I did. I'll show you guys a quick overview of them, and then we're going to move on to the next box before we run everything. And starting the next box is another boxcar. And again, this is one I do already have a road number for. I remember when these Bowser cars came out, but I never bought them as I never knew what Bowser was like. And then at a train show, I found one of these, Northern Pacific dark green boxcars, 40-foot boxcars, sorry. And I have 1034, this is 1035. And I would like to get the third road number, which I believe is 1033. But now I have two of the three, and I must say, this is a cool boxcar. I really do just love this scheme. Let's move on to the next one. So for the next three cars that came in the box, I'm only going to be unboxing one of them, as they are actually all the same. I don't ever remember these cars being for sale, these Great Northern Teal ore cars, although apparently they were announced in like 2019. But again, I don't ever remember them being for sale. They made 3 road numbers plus a 4-pack, so if I ever find that 4-pack, maybe I'll get it. But again, this is part of my wanting to collect a bunch of different ore cars, or one ore car at least, from every major ore railroad. And I must say, I'm actually very happy I bought this car, or these cars I should say. It's very different, I must say. But anyway, let's take a closer look at them. So here is the Northern Pacific boxcar, and I'll show you some close-ups of the logos and stuff. I just love these cars, I seriously do. Not necessarily because they're Bowser, but more because they're dark green, and I just really like this scheme. Now, let's move on to the Great Northern cars, especially since this isn't supposed to be a review. And here is the Great Northern cars, and I must say, again, I really love these cars, and actually, on the inside of the car, there is actually the brown paint that's on the end. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. I have a better picture that'll show it. But I must say, very cool scheme. Very cool. And just like the LS&I car, this is made by Athearn, and you can remove the ore load that's in them. And I bought 3 different road numbers. Just take the Northern Pacific car off of here. Yep, like I said, 3 different road numbers. Trying to get them all in shot or just something that resembles that. But I'm sure you guys are a little bit bored of seeing these 3 and me maneuvering them, so let's skip right to the next one, or the last thing I bought for this month. This last item is very special to me. These were only made during the early 2000s. Only one was manufactured with sound, and there's only 2 of them left in the world. Have you guessed what it is yet? Well, I hope you enjoyed that little bit. This locomotive that's in here I have been looking for quite a while, and as you can probably see in the background, I already have one of these. This one over here is number 508 with DCC and sound. This one in here, as you saw from the tag, or the end of the box, is number 511. And I've always kind of had a fascination with the DM&IR, but never really explored it. I mean, I knew it was a hometown rail, or not, sorry, not a hometown, a home state railroad of mine. And I'd always kind of been interested, but never like that interested, until more recently, and got to see 332 in steam and be up in its cab. I may insert some footage here. But I am just stoked to have another road number from the DM&IR. Unfortunately, I don't really have any ore cars to go with it, but I am working on it, I swear. So, this locomotive, he said it was like new in box. I think this one is new in box. But yes, here's the tender. We'll take a closer look at that later. I'm just going to put it back in here just for safekeeping for right now. And this model is only DC, and I do plan to put DCC and sound into it at some point. Not sure when, but it will happen, and I will just slide it out of its block of ice here, which is still tight. I don't think this thing... He took it out of its box for pictures for me, but I don't think this thing has ever, like, been ran consistently. I think he just test ran it for me. You can't see it very well inside of the block of ice, but let's take a close up of this, because I'm just super stoked to play with this. Since I have 2 of these locomotives, I am not going to do a very long up-close section for them, and I do actually plan to do a review on them since I have 2 of them, but I'll just be quiet and let you guys appreciate some of the detail before we get to running these. Thanks so much for watching this month's Cascade delivery, and I hope to see you guys next month. If you'd like to make that a little easier, go and hit the subscribe and like buttons. Thanks, and I'll see you guys next time.